Hello guys, thanks very much for clicking on the video, really appreciate it. You know what time it is. Thanks very much for the likes and comments on the previous video. If you guys want to watch the previous Shed Sunday, there's a link in the video description below. Had some great feedback on it, so thank you. And as usual, I went through the comments to see what to do for the following Shed Sunday, and a couple of questions popped up about knots, and more specifically bushcraft knots and camping knots that I use. So this episode's going to be focused on that. I'm going to kind of go out the shed really to show you those knots, and then we'll come back in here and we've got loads of stuff to talk about, so hope you enjoy it guys. Okay people, first up is the clove hitch. Wrap your working end around the stick or log that you're working with, and then tuck it back in on itself. Cinch it down nice and tight so that it locks. If you've tied it correctly guys, it should form an X shape. This knot is great for the beginning of a lashing. This next knot is actually a simple slip knot but with a twist. You should notice at the end of this one I've tied an overhand knot. I'm wrapping it around on itself and then back through the hole that my thumb is just there. Going to pull it through nice and tight. Pull the loop at the top to create the slip knot. But what that bottom overhand knot is going to do is act as a jam knot. And if you watch here, when I pull it tight on my hand, you'll see that jam knot kick in so that the tag end doesn't slip through. Boom. Just like that. The knot itself is also really easy to undo if you've left yourself enough tag in. Just give it a wiggle like that, and then you can see it just pulls itself apart. Whilst on the topic of jam knots, let's look at the Canadian jam knot. Do a simple overhand knot. Pull it tight, just like I did with the slip knot, but make sure you leave enough tag ends, people. Then make yourself another overhand knot, but this time, do not pull it tight. You can cinch it down a bit, but make sure you leave a hole there. I'm going to use this demonstration on the log. I've wrapped it around the log, put my tag end through that loose overhand knot, and I'm slowly pulling it through. Make sure the second overhand knot at the end doesn't go through this knot. As I cinch it down, watch it pull down tight, and the jam knot kicks in, kaboom. Now that's not going to slip, it's locked off, it's nice and tight. That log ain't going nowhere. To undo the knot is nice and simple. Grab the tag end, pull it, and it should come off nice and easily. Just like the slip knot, but you must make sure you've got that tag end to pull it loose. There's a number of different ways that you can use a Canadian jam knot, people. It doesn't have to be on logs. In this example, I'm imagining that my straps are broken on my bedroll, but I can just grab a piece of paracord or any cordage, tie a Canadian jam knot, and I'm off. The next knot is the fisherman's knot, and you can use it to tie two pieces of cordage together, although I would never use it to tie fishing line together because it's too thin. But all you do is do an overhand knot over both pieces of paracord or cord that you're using, pull the knot down tight, and do exactly the same with your other tag end. Wrap it around both ends, pull it nice and tight, and then what you can do is you can grab each end of the paracord then, and the knot should slide together as you pull it down. It's a good knot, it's a simple knot, but it's not very strong. But that's okay, because we can actually adapt this knot to what's called a double uni knot, or what I call a double uni knot, and it's just a little bit stronger. You're going to need more cordage to do this though. It's the same sort of knot and the same principle. You wrap it over both pieces of paracord, but this time you're going to go in a loop and you're going to wrap it around. I like to do about 3 or 4 wraps. Obviously, the more wraps that you do, generally, the tighter and more secure the knot will be, but it all depends on the thickness of the cordage. This time, I've done 5. Hold the tag end, pull it tight. It can be quite difficult if the knot's not lubricated, obviously, because this is just paracord, but do exactly the same the other side. So I've pulled that tight. As you can see, I've got loads of sort of big tag end left. Wrap it around on itself, and it's got to go through both pieces of paracord, so it's doubling up. Wrap it over once, through the loop, twice, through the loop. You can see where I'm going here, can't you guys? 3 times through the loop, 4 times, I'm slowly running out, 5 times, and then hold that tag end, don't let go of the tag end, and pull tight. Once the knots are pulled tight, you can pull each end of the paracord together and you see that slip there, and then it's a much more secure knot than the original fisherman's knot. The next one is the bowline knot or the bowline knot. Form a loop on one side of your cordage. Grab your tag end, and go underneath through that loop. It must go under and not over. It should look like this at this stage. Then use your tag end again and go under your main line, like so. Keep hold of that tag end, watch it. It's going to go back through the loop, and then I like to pinch it against the side of the main loop there and pull the remaining line through. At which point, once it's cinched down, you can grab the top of the loop and pull down really hard. Now you know you've tied this knot correctly, guys, if your tag end is sticking out 90 degrees to the side. It's a really strong knot, it's a very strong loop. People have used it to tow cars. Here's an example where I'm using it just to cinch it down on itself, really, as if I'm carrying a log. Or you can use it for more simple, smaller tasks, such as small toggles that you can use to hang your billy can from. But again, you're just hitching it on itself. Make sure that it goes over that knot. Make sure you always cinch the knot down tight. It's the same with all knots, make sure you cinch them down tight. And that toggle could be used to hang my billy can over a fire, or I could use it as a grip to lift up heavy items, or even hanging a heavy backpack on a tree. The great thing about it really is that it's such a strong loop, but it's also very easy to undo the knot. It doesn't pinch too tight. Here's another example of the bowline knot, and actually this is one that I use very regularly for my TARP ridgeline. I pass the main line through the bowline loop, then I use a stick as a toggle, and then just again hitching and cinching it down on itself and using it like a ratchet really, pulling really tight. As you can see, it will pinch that stick against the tree. Once you pulled it tight enough, you can let your ridgeline go and then head to the other end to tie whatever knot you use to secure that ridgeline nice and tight. Speaking of ridgelines, this one is called the Siberian hitch, and it's relatively difficult to tie, but it's a very good knot. What I do is I pass my tag end, or I like to call it my tag end, around the tree and then wrap it over my hands and wrap it over again. But I don't cross over any of the lines. Then I grab my main line whilst keeping hold of the tag end, and this is the difficult part. You wrap underneath your main line whilst twisting, keeping your hands, which is forming a loop. Then you grab that tag end again, but don't let go like I've done. I've just done that as an example. So keep hold of that tag end and pull through, and you should be able to form a loop. And this loop is effectively your quick release loop. So you can make sure you pull that knot nice and tight so nothing slips. If you want, you could tie an overhand knot on the end of the tag end so that it doesn't slip. Cinch it down nice and tight, sort of like a trucker's hitch in a way. And there's that quick release loop. I could put a stick in there if I wanted to. And then to release the knot itself, you've got your quick release loop. You grab the tag end and pull down nice and hard, and everything should fall away. Another knot that I commonly use when putting up a TARP ridgeline is the taut TARP hitch. I've gone around the tree, then I'm going to go back over my ridgeline. This is what makes your ridgeline really nice and taut, so you have to pull hard. Make sure everything is tight. As I join it together here, you'll see that I've made a triangle shape where I've laid it over the main ridgeline. Here's another demonstration. Round the tree, back over the main ridgeline, and then this part is what's pulling your ridgeline nice and tight. You've hitched it on itself. Keep everything tight, try not to make it loose. Here's the triangle that I've made. I'm now drawing it, and at which point you can also see I've made a U shape here. Now I need to get that loose tag end through that U shape in the form of a loop, because this is my quick release loop. There it is. I've pulled it tight, but the loop's pretty big and it could still slip through. So I'm going to make a second quick release loop by pulling that tag end through. Now my loop is huge. In this example, my ridgeline isn't as tight as I'd like it, but we'll carry on anyway. To get rid of that loop, and to make sure everything's more secure, put a stick in there, pull it through tight, and then nothing will slip. Now that you've tied your ridgeline, you need to be able to secure your tarp nice and tight. And to do that, you can make a PRUSIK knot. All you do is with one piece of cordage, double it over itself to form a loop. Put this loop over your ridgeline, and then hitch it on itself twice, making sure that as you wrap the knot through, that you don't cross over any pieces of paracord. It all needs to be in line. When loose, you can slide this knot along your ridgeline, but once you pull the knot tight, it stays rigid and doesn't slip. From here you can then tuck one of your TARP tie-out points through the loop, and then you can use a stick as a toggle to secure your TARP to your ridgeline. And then it's easy to adjust by pulling the PRUSIK knot nice and tight, and then it shouldn't slip in windy conditions. Here you can see the example. As I go to pull the knot tight, the TARP gets taut and it keeps it all secure. Okay, and onto the final knot that I use, and it's the guy line hitch, which is really useful for tarp and tent guy lines, and it's an adjustable knot. So here I am wrapping it over the main line, then wrap it over again. So 2 wraps over your main line. At which point you need to make sure you create a loop with your finger, and there's 2 loops basically. This is the quick release loop that's now being formed, and it's going back through that last wrap that I just did. Pull everything nice and tight, and then your knot is ready. The knot itself is dead easy to adjust. You either pull it towards your tarp or your tent to get the line tight, and it will stay there, it shouldn't slip like so. Or to loosen it, you go back towards your tent peg or your tent stake, and that then loosens it so that you can pack up. Here's another demo. If you watch the tarp itself, I'm tightening it. You can see the tarp pulling tight. As I let go, it doesn't slip. Doing the guitar test, all is good. To release the loop, pull down on the remaining tag end, and it should pull free nice and easily. Then you're ready to pack up and head on home. So that's really all the knots that I actually use when I'm out either practicing bushcraft or just general wild camping. Hopefully you guys took something from that. I did mention in the previous video last week about the PO box that I set up, but I got quite a few emails saying, Mike, you know, I'm trying to send you stuff, but it was getting declined or something like that. It turns out it wasn't activated until the 11th of August, so now it's activated. So yeah, send away. I actually got a private post from one of the guys who sent me, one of our subscribers who watches TA Fishing as well, look at that. Hotel Chocolat, a bunch of chocolates, and he says it's from Stephen Daniels, who says, or we know him as Stephen Fife, he comments loads. He says, "Hi Mike, glad you got the PO box. Please share with Graham. As you know, TA Fishing is the greatest. You have both given me so much knowledge and inspiration over the last 2 years since he started fishing. Thanks very much, Stephen." So, Stephen, thank you. Thanks very much for your gift. That's very, very kind. I do appreciate it. It's been a pretty busy week for me. I don't know about you guys, but I've been out doing plenty of filming for TA Outdoors. Also done a few small videos for TA Fishing as well with Dad. The Camp Update 11 video has gone massive for some reason. I don't know why, but I really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, I really appreciate you subscribing if it was from that video. And do, you know, feel free to comment your opinions and everything and let me know what you would like to see on the channel. As for the future, next couple of weeks, I've got some fishing ones. Going to go do some fishing. I've actually got an overnighter as well, which I'm filming next week. But hopefully you'll... Every time I do Shed Sunday, a massive lorry goes past. For those that are new to Shed Sunday, yes, I film every Sunday in my shed here. It's 6 by 4 foot. It's only small. We've added some ambient lighting. We've got a skull flag. It's just random, I know. And a lot of you guys want to go through the tools and stuff that I've got in here, which I will do at some point in a Shed Sunday. Maybe more towards the winter, you know, when it's colder months and it's a bit more difficult to get out and do stuff, filming-wise, that is. And then I can run through that with you then. As for Shed Sundays in general, please let me, this is the third one, so let me know what you guys think. Are you enjoying this? Would you rather not see this on the channel? Would you rather I kind of carry on with it? Like I say, Shed Sundays is just Sundays. You'll still get your kind of weekly bushcraft, shooting, hunting, fishing videos anyway. It's just a bit of extra content that I'm putting out there. Obviously it is a lot of effort for me to make, so I want to know your opinions really on whether it's worthwhile and whether you guys are getting anything from it. Maybe I'm not teaching you stuff that I'm probably teaching you stuff you know already. Maybe you just enjoy watching me sat in a shed talking. But as usual, just let me know in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. I do read them. Had a few questions about perhaps doing every month, so every 4th Shed Sunday as a live stream in the shed, which is possible. It is possible, so do let me know on this one, because that would mean that next week's one might be a live one. So again, I need your comments, I need your opinions. Please comment below. And we all know traditionally what happens on Shed Sunday towards the end of the video. It is, of course, the beer review. Okay, this week's beer is another one from Haze Outdoors. Thank you, buddy. This is the Metropolitan Pale Ice Cream Pale Ale, and I've actually refrigerated this because Hazy said do it. And it's another one of the Northern Monk Brewery. I know Hazy's a bit of a fanboy for Northern Monk, and yeah, Haze said, mate, put this one in the fridge because it tastes so much better. And I'm not surprised when it's called the Ice Cream Pale Ale. One can only imagine what this is going to taste like. But we're talking 6.2%. That is said can. It's not a peeler, but that's the can. Loving the artwork. Northern Monk have got their artwork on point. Drink responsibly, people. Drink responsibly. And about the feedback on the last one, I've upgraded to a pint glass. Most of you wanted to see it poured to see what it looks like, so I've stuck with a pint glass. Cheers, guys. Hope you had a good week. Whoa. Thanks, Hazy. Not much of a scent on this one. Oh, just dribbled it everywhere. It is creamy, though. It is creamy. Let's see how she pours. Bit better than I thought, actually. I thought it'd be a bit more creamy than that. Obviously, it's not going to hit the pint mark because it's a tinny. But there we go, boys. That's the colour of the ice cream pale ale. That's what it looks like. Definitely not as creamy as I thought. Cloudy, yeah. A lot of people said, mate, your beer looked really cloudy, you're going to get bellyache. It's not so much with your kind of IPAs, guys. They tend to be, especially canned ones, they do tend to be a bit cloudy. Here we go, taste test. That's a strange taste. Almost tastes like a standard lager to me. I have to admit, it smelt better than it tasted, in my opinion. The ice cream, I got the real cream, the cream essence when I sniffed it, but now it just smells like a lager, it tastes like a lager. The other thing some of you guys have said actually is that you're watching Shed Sundays in your shed, which I think is awesome. As usual, guys, with Shed Sundays, please suggest what do you want me to talk about. There's loads of suggestions on the previous videos. I think I'm going to make this into a playlist so that people can catch up on the previous Shed Sundays. But yeah, the way this works is, for those that are new, you guys suggest ideas in the comment section. I look through the comments and then I try each week to pick out some of your ideas and either give you some tips or just give you some feedback or answer some questions, just general questions. We can do Q&A ones. Obviously, I'll go through the PO box stuff if you guys have sent me anything. Maybe we'll do some live streams. It's just a general chill on a Sunday, guys. Just chill time. That's all it's about. We all have busy weeks. We all have busy lives. We're out there working hard, trying to earn the paper, pay the bills, pay the tax man, more like. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Shed Sunday. Really appreciate it. I appreciate all your views. I appreciate all your likes and your comments. Thanks so much. And I'll see you next week on another episode of Shed Sundays.